Welcome back to Turpeyes, back with another weekly video for the channel. Today we're starting out in the 6-light FlexStar room, which is located right behind me, as you can see. Started with this video with installing the light controllers for both the above canopy and under canopy lights. I was planning on doing the irrigation first in this building, but it seems I'm missing a few pieces along with the drain system for this room. Unfortunately, last time I had some people working in the building, they ended up stealing the hammer drill and its fittings and drill bits along with the hole saw. So I'm not able to drill a few of the holes for the drain system. So that's gonna have to wait until those tools arrive back. I have messaged those people. Not sure if they're gonna return them or not. We'll see. The hammer drill, the people that took those said that they don't have it, but mysteriously vanished right after they completed their work. So for our irrigation that we'll be getting to later on in the video, I hope, if the parts arrive, I'm missing 2 T's. I need a T for here and another one that's missing to connect this to this, along with the fitting that goes from here to here. As this is a threaded fitting, so we need an adapter to go to the slide-on fitting. Same thing on this side. This is one table setup. This is another table setup, so we're missing 2 fittings here and 2 fittings here. Not a big deal. Those will be on the way. I ordered those already. And then here is our light controller that we're gonna get to. This is the FlexStar Zeus X2. Here's the controller. As you can see on the bottom, there's 2 light controllers, line 1 and line 2, and then 2 sensors, sensor 1 and sensor 2. Here are our commercial quality sensors. They do both humidity and temperature. So we got 2 of those. We'll locate these 2 under the canopy, just above the under canopy lights. That way we know our microclimates around the plants. We have the Pulse Pros located all around the perimeter, along with our THV sensor up here. So we have good control of our entire environment, or at least monitoring, and then we'll utilize our fans in the different spots in the room to really even out the entire canopy and growing environment in here. So the way this connects is we have this metal plate here. We have on the back of this a magnet right here. So as you can see, just attaches like that. We'll use these 2 holes. I've already marked the holes on the wall here. That since this is concrete, we're gonna have to use a hammer drill to drill 2 holes in here, put some plugs in and 2 screws, which will attach the plate on here. That way our controller can be taken off and put back on easily and still secured on the wall. We have 1 for that side and 1 over here. I've already done the 2 holes over here also. And here is our second controller. Each line, 1 line will be connected to the under canopy lights and 1 line will be connected to the lights above. You want them on separate channels because when you dim your lights at the top, you don't want to be dimming the same amount on your under canopy lights. You want to be able to control both the top and bottom separately. This controller does a great job of providing that service in the grow room. I'll knock out these 2 controllers on both sides of the room and then we'll check out the rest of the room, like our drain system here. I have all the parts, just missing the tool that we need to drill into the side of here, 2 fittings. That way it allows us to drain our tables with this hose, 1 going around to here and 1 going straight to here. I'll give you a quick update on everything I accomplished today because we did get quite a bit done, even though we were missing some parts to continue these projects. Okay, so I cleaned up all the zip ties that were holding the under canopy lighting in place. As you can see, there's 2 new sensors here. These will be attached or hung from the underside of our canopy so we can tell how our environment is under the canopy, where we do some de-leafing so the under canopy lighting can get to the buds that we usually lollipop off. So we can keep a good eye on our temperature and humidity with those 2 sensors, and then we have the content sensor that will be in our growing medium also. The 2 other sensors are connected to our new light controller here, which is the FlexStar Zeus X2. We have the 2 sensors here, 1 and 2. The 1 is for the closest one and number 2 is for this farthest one. Then we have our 2 light controllers, which is 1 and 2. 1 will be the above lights and 2 will be our under canopy lights. Great little controller here that we have. We don't have the CO2 sensor, so we don't get the reading off that. We'll rely on our Pulse Pros located in each of the corners and at the front of the grow room. So we wired it as nice as we can, zip tied everything nicely. It's running everything above, and there are some cords hanging, but that's because these tables do move, so we need that extra slack to be able to move this table all the way to the other side, giving us plenty of room to work on our plants next to the wall when we're growing. Over here on this side, same thing. This controller mimics the exact same on that side, under canopy lights, above canopy lights. We just are waiting for a adapter here so we can attach another cable because it's not quite long enough. I went to the store, I did buy a cable that I thought was gonna be long enough, and it ended up being the exact same cable that I have, 2.5 meters. Need like a 3 and 3.5 long meter cable. So we're just gonna attach 2.5 cables with a little adapter. That'll solve that problem. We also replaced our heaters up here. We did have two electric heaters from Vivo Sun, located one there and one on the back corner there. Each of those were 1500 watts. Unfortunately, they are only 120 volt, and in Thailand here we only have 220 volt or higher. So I had to get new electric heaters. These ones are 2000 watts each. So a little bit more power, which I think will be more sized to match our AC system over there, which is a 3-ton system. We cleaned up all the wires, installed the heaters so far, installed the 2 light controllers and the 2 sensors on each of the tables here. So that's everything we can accomplish for today, because I did place an order for the rest of the fittings for irrigation. We have already the drip emitters here waiting, along with the line which is located outside the room. And then the last thing is I'm waiting for a reply from the workers that took the hole saw, so I can cut 2 holes into here and put our fittings in. Then we can complete our drain lines for the tables, and then this room is 100% ready to go. Other than that, just waiting on those things. I think that will be 3 or 4 days. If they don't reply with the hole saw, I'm gonna have to just order another one. They are pretty cheap here in Thailand, so not a big deal, but it does suck when things go missing when you hire somebody for some extra help. Everything's doing very well here. We got our humidifier here on. You can see that it's pumping out quite a bit. Our environment right now is 8 degrees Fahrenheit and 66% relative humidity. It stays around 66 to 75 right now. It's midday, so the sun is hitting this wall directly for the next 4 or 5 hours, which runs our AC system a little bit more, which lowers our humidity in the room. So that's why the humidity is a little bit lower than ideal right now for what we're doing on this rack. Let's move on to the next project we got to accomplish this week. Okay, give you guys another update on the Vivo Sun grow tent room. It's day 6 since putting these clones behind me, in this room for testing to make sure that we have everything taken care of, just like we did in the 6-light room downstairs. Seems like we don't have any more issues in here, but again, in the past it was around day 7 that plants started dying, and then anywhere up to day 10 or 12 that they would end up dying. But we're on day 6 right now, so let's take a quick look at the 3 clones that I did put in here, and then 2 clones that I also got yesterday from a supplier. Okay, so like I was saying, the clones are looking really good. This is the dips. You can just see how much bigger it is now. We did end up topping it because it was getting too tall. It was right into the light anyways. So I have topped it, and as you can see, the other side branches took over, and it's quite a big bushy plant. It's definitely oversized for the pot that it's in right now, but again, we're just testing these plants right now just to make sure that they stay alive. Here's the Tropicana cherry. Real good, no signs of anything, still healthy, even though that it's getting pretty root bound in there. And then over here, we do see some discoloration or deficiencies going on in here. So hopefully that was from the nutrients that I gave it. As for these 2 other plants that I got yesterday from a supplier, you can see just how they're not doing too well. This is straight out of the package. They've been in this room for about 24 hours now. Not so healthy, pretty disappointed when getting them, but it is what it is when getting clones from other sources. We'll bring them back to life over the next week or so, or 2 weeks, get them up potted and then growing a little bit bigger. Then we'll clone them out to healthy, more clones other than this. This is the Dante's Inferno right here, and then we have Wild Runts. These are from 2 Thai growers, which are pretty local to me, within a few hours So pretty excited to see how those do. And we have no real plans for them yet. We'll see what we do with them. Maybe go get them in a breeding project in the future. So let's head upstairs to the rooftop and see how those plants are doing since we had a really big rainstorm last night. Okay, we're on the rooftop as you can see. Super beautiful day out, not a cloud in the sky and no rain on the forecast for today. We did have 3 or 4 days without any rain, which brought these rooftop plants back to life and really greened them up after I gave them a heavy feeding of full strength veg nooch. So I was very happy to see that. I was going to do a video up here last night, but it ended up starting raining just before I got up here. So I did have a small clip that I put on my Instagram story just so everybody could see how the plants endure a full-on rainstorm here. As when it does rain in this location, it rains a lot. So it's very hard to keep the nutrients in the growing medium. I know everybody's commenting, cover the plants or put a rooftop over them. That is coming in the future. I do have 2 rolls of 100-foot 50% shade cloth, which I will be installing on this rooftop eventually. I just need to design a way of hanging it from the different walls in this area, or put up some type of metal support to really secure it, because there is pretty heavy winds up here. And like I was saying, when it does have a rainstorm, the rain is very strong. So I don't want the netting or plastic covers that I put over all the plants to knock over and end up damaging the plants. So that is a future project. I just have some other things that I need to take care of before we can move on to that project. So let's turn it around the camera and take a look at the plants. So here are the clones. Everything's looking super green now, much better. We were having some yellowing going on the plants earlier, but after a few days of no rain and a good feeding, everything's looking super healthy. I did give the plants a very strong nutrient mix, which ended up burning them a little bit. But after about a day, this burning stopped and the plants really enjoyed it. The rest of the plants all green up, but we did have a couple of the clones have some burning like this. There's one right there. You can see one right here, one right over there. But out of a handful of them, where the rest of them all took it very nicely, happy overall. I did end up taking clones from a lot of these plants already, which is down in the 6-light room, which we'll be using in the breeding project in the future. Here's another one that couldn't take the stronger nutrients that we gave, but overall looking very good. Super happy with everything. I will get in here and top all the plants one more time, and then these plants I think I will be using as just or mother plants to clone out. And then once we're done with those, we'll just chop them down and then fill this entire rooftop with autoflowers, which brings us over to the other side of the rooftop. We have our autoflower seeds. This one never popped out. Ended up putting 3 different seeds in there and nothing ended up coming out. So I'm not sure what's wrong with this specific pot or the growing medium. We have this one over here. Let me zoom in. That just got attacked by bugs. Same with this one over here and that one. But the rest of them are looking decent. We have a bunch that are like this. Very nice. Again, this sun is just super strong, stressing these plants out quite a bit. So again, we will be putting a shade cloth up here, which is 50% coverage. All we have to do is design something like a metal upright for over here on this wall in the corner up there, and then we will hang the shade cloth up like this and then across to this rooftop, which isn't a big deal. I just need to get around to doing that, and then this entire area will be covered nicely and have a good environment for autoflowers to grow in going forward. Over here will be a little bit more tricky as it is pretty long distance from this rooftop corner down to the other side, and then we still have to work in the way with the antenna pole over there. But it won't be too hard to design something to have a clear top here around to here, and then a flat wall which will have 50% shade cloth on the side and clear panels on the top with the 50% shade cloth underneath. But that's just in a future project. We're just really taking one step at a time to see what's actually necessary in this type of environment, because again, we are just testing up here to see what works and what doesn't work in this area, because I do have access to a large commercial facility that's already GMP licensed, and it has a few greenhouses, an outdoor area, indoor area, and a extraction lab for oils, which is medical use only. So that is in the future. We just have to come up with a good game plan before we really commit to that facility. Okay, that was a quick update on the rooftop. So let's move over to the next area. Another update for you guys in the Vivo Sun grow tent room. As you can see behind me, we're on day 7 of the clones being in this room. The clones that we used downstairs in the 6-light room, which ended up surviving in there for 15 days. If you haven't been following along, in this building, clones have been dying anywhere between 7 and 12 days. We've resolved the issue in the room below us. We started doing the testing in this room. It's now being day 7, which is our sign of usually when the plants start to show any signs. And unfortunately, we are showing signs now on 2 of the 3 clones that we have in here. The only difference between this room and the room below that we haven't changed, which we've changed in both rooms, is adding the Horty 25, which is an air ionizer, which reduces the pathogen load and any mold and improves the air quality in the space. The other thing that we have in the room downstairs is a HEPA filter recirculating the air inside the room. Both of those 2 pieces of equipment really improve the air quality apparently inside of a room. So we are going to have to put an order in for those 2 things and add them to this room, and then we'll be able to test clones in here again to make sure that we have resolved the issues in here. The issue continues with clones dying in the space, then we're going to have to revisit that and see what else could be the issue in this room compared to the room below, because plants are surviving down there without any issue. Okay, so this is the 3 clones that we have been looking at over this time frame. It's day 7 of these clones being in here, which were previously downstairs for 15 days. I'll show you the healthy one, the most healthy one I should say. No real signs, but if we take a quick look on, I think this leaf is showing it, there is some deficiencies about to show. If you can see this one actually, the lighter color green in the center points, and then the next one that's really showing the first signs in here, which I was seeing these yesterday, I just didn't start to make a video, so you can see it does look like a deficiency, looks like overwatering, underwatering. This issue that we've been having in here really checks the boxes of many different issues, but unfortunately it continues over here. So we'll take a quick look over here on the biggest, most healthy, strong clone, and you can see it on that leaf right there. And then over here also on just about the same size leaf, we are seeing the same exact issues. Some people say this is bug related. There are no bugs in here at all. And if I remove these plants from in here, they will become healthy again over 36 to 48 hours. They spring back to life. So it's really difficult to know exactly what's going on. But at least we have got plants surviving downstairs. That was a big hurdle and give us some success in this building, as this is our, I think, 7th round of plants being in this building and testing this out. Parameters have been all good for the growing environment. I feel like it's down to the air quality. We have improved it in the building quite a bit by fixing all the plumbing in here. So I think the residual things inside the building still might be causing an issue. So we'll install a Horty 25 and the HEPA filter recirculating the air inside this entire room and give it another go in here. So I hate to end the video on that note, but that's all the time we've got for this week's video. Until next time, happy growing everyone. And remember to get out there and make it happen.